Start streaming. Go live. Give me 1 second, guys. Hey, Ken, sir. What's up, man? How are you today? I know you're really interested in the visual effects course. Don't worry, I got that written down, so don't worry. I did not forget. don't worry. All right, guys. So I don't know if you guys recently saw the thing that I posted, but go check it out. The ship that we posted. Me and my buddy worked on that together. He did an incredible job. Go follow him. Just absolutely amazing artist. So. We're going to be working on a fluid simulation today. I'm going to be recording this and putting it on YouTube as well, but this one should be pretty cool. I had an idea where we kind of just create a fun little fluid simulation where we flip the gravity midway. So like it's the simulation is running and then we flip the gravity upside down. And we're going to create some kind of a switch, a few like cool elements for our scene. I'm really excited because I think we can make something really cool here and just like teach a few physics lessons along the way. So without further ado, let me put you guys on this tripod so you guys can see what I'm doing, and then we're going to go and hop into the tutorial. We're also on YouTube as well. If you guys are interested in joining on YouTube, that's fine. Have you seen the video I sent you? No, I did not look at the video that you sent me yet, but I will. Sorry. Hold on, let me check these comments real quick. Nice work, bro. Thank you so much. Hey, sir, can you tell me how to start working in freelancing? I would just start by like uploading a bunch of stuff to your profile. Make sure you have a bunch of content, because if you start trying to freelance and you don't have anything to show off as like previous work, you're not going to get a job. So definitely start by just posting a bunch of stuff, and then eventually people are going to come to you. That's kind of what happened with me. Caesar, how are you today? I am doing great. Yeah, today's a pretty good day so far, I would say. Just going to go ahead and jump into a tutorial in a second here. If you guys have any questions, though, let me know, and then I'm going to hop right into the tutorial. We are live on YouTube as well. I know a lot of you mentioned that you want to see me stream on Twitch. That is something that I have considered. To be honest, it's kind of tough because I have to choose one or the other. It's like it's either Twitch or it's YouTube or it's Instagram. But in this case, I love YouTube because it's easy. I just have it running in the background, and then I can talk to you guys over here on Instagram, which is super awesome. Hi Kenny, when does the course come out? What course are you talking about? Because I'm working on quite a few things. So also guys, if you guys are interested, I do have private tutoring that you guys can sign up for. I know some of you aren't interested, and that's totally fine, but for those of you who are looking to learn more about like Photoshop, Blender, Premiere, 3D printing, like anything animation related, like just visual effects in general, definitely something to look into. My rate is $50 an hour, and I'm going to try to make more rates on there as well. So like if there's more advanced topics, like there'd probably be a higher rate, but right now I'm just going to keep it at 50. So if you guys want to get in at that rate, and you are interested in learning more about Blender, I highly encourage you to sign up. You just have to go into the calendar. It's on Calendly, which is a really user-friendly platform. I really like it. So if you guys do want to learn more about Blender, you can sign up for a session with me. It is a paid session, so you do have to pay for the tutoring, obviously. But I can guarantee you that you're going to get a very quality lesson out of it. So I would definitely say if you're looking to get better at all these programs that I have been using for years, definitely go ahead and sign up for that. So yeah. Obviously, it's going to be kind of part of what I do for a living, so obviously I do have to charge for that. And then all the tutorials on YouTube, all that stuff's free anyway. Live streaming, you guys can get that for free. So the stuff that I'm going to be teaching today, all free. If you guys want to learn more and get into more advanced topics and talk to me like one-on-one or talk to me about the project you're working on, that is what the tutoring is for. So go ahead and check out my story post. And if you guys want to just personally message me, I can send you the link so you guys can sign up. But yeah. All right, let's go ahead and hop into this physics simulation. I'm super excited to be going over this. I'm going to start it out as a tutorial style thing, and then we're going to go ahead and just go through the steps here. Let me just read this comment real quick. The things they're asking about is the thing that I'm asking about. FX simulation, just watch the video, going to help you a lot. Yeah, we'll definitely check that out. Thank you for reaching out to me and sending that to me. So, all right, everybody on YouTube, we got 16 people watching. Nope, 17. So I'm going to go ahead and flip the camera for you guys so you guys can actually see what I'm doing. And we're going to go ahead and hop into this fluid tutorial. This one should be pretty cool. And at the moment, I'm not going to be accepting any live requests. Guys, thank you. If it's something you're really, really interested in, we can set that up in the future. Right now, I'm just going to be going over this physics simulation that we have right here. So this one's going to be pretty cool. I'm really excited to show you guys what we got going on. Let me go ahead and flip the camera. All right. So guys, if you're on Instagram, you are about to see some really cool shit. And if you're on YouTube, you're definitely going to see some cool stuff as well. I'm going to turn you guys sideways so you can see what I am doing here. Cool? Sound good? All right, guys, let's go ahead and hop into this thing. Let me also adjust you guys so that you're higher up a little bit. How is that, guys? Is that okay? Everybody good with that? Cool? All right. All right, let me go ahead and introduce the topic, and then we'll go ahead and get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be doing a gravitational fluid simulation. So what I want to do is I want to set up a nice fluid simulation for us, and then I want to switch the gravity midway, and we're going to add a few cool objects in here and just make this a really cool animation. So this is sort of the effect we're going to be going for. As you can see, I'm going to play the simulation, and then the water is going to turn upside down. So it starts by flowing downwards, and then the gravity shifts, and we can basically keyframe all these elements to kind of make this happen. So let me go ahead and minimize my screen a little bit for you guys. All right. Sorry, ignore the Patreon. This would be a good time to announce that I do have a Patreon as well as private tutoring that I'm offering. So I will include those links in the description below. But let me go ahead and save this project, and let's open up a new project. New general project. I'm going to delete this light. I'm going to click on my cube. So we're going to keep our default cube and use it as our liquid object. So we're going to go to Quick Effects, Quick Liquid. And just like that, we have a nice little fluid simulation by default. So this is like Blender's default fluid simulation. So what we want to do is we want to go over here to our gravity settings, which is in our scene settings. And as you can see, by default, we're at negative 9.8 meters squared, or meters a second squared, which is like the default gravity of the actual real world. So we're going to find a place to switch our gravity. I'm going to probably go ahead and let this play out for like 60 frames. How about we let it play out to 90 frames? And then I'm going to insert a keyframe by hovering over this, pressing I, and then we're going to move forward to frame 100, and we're going to flip it. So we're just going to type in positive 9.8, and we're going to add a keyframe. So at this point, the gravity is going to switch from regular pulling down on our objects to now everything's going to go upwards. All right, so let me go ahead and save this real quick as, I'm just going to call it fluid flip, which is kind of funny because flip fluid is the type of simulation we are using. Now I'm going to go ahead and click on our domain. I'm going to make sure I have a cache folder set up, which I do. I'm going to click on replay, and I'm actually going to do all, and then I'm going to bake this out to frame 200. Let's go ahead and click on bake all. Let's give this a second, and let's go ahead and see if our simulation baked properly. Fluid falls. Now at frame 90 to 100, it should flip. As you can see, it properly flips to the other side. Now what we're going to do is we're going to free all one more time, and we're going to check mesh over here, and we're going to bake one more time. I'm going to show you guys what that's going to do. We're at a very low resolution. We're at 32, so this is like a really basic simulation. It's not very advanced at all. But if we go ahead and play this in solid mode, let's go ahead and watch what this looks like. So as you can see, our fluid falls down, and now it's going to flip. The gravity is going to completely flip it around. So it's just kind of this cool little effect I wanted to play with. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to free all again, go back to wireframe view. I'm just going to shrink the size of our cube in the middle, which is actually going to be our like fluid object. I'm going to apply that scale as well. And then I'm going to rebake our simulation. I don't want as much liquid. Excuse me. I want a little bit less. I don't want it to be like completely filled. So already we have this really cool animation. So let's go ahead and watch this liquid drop, and then at frame 90, it's going to flip upside down. Very cool. Very, very cool effect. Now, if we want to make this even more intense, guys, we free all. We zoom in on our keyframes here. See these two keyframes on our timeline? And we just squeeze them together. So I'm going to go to frame 95, press S to scale. And now this is going to flip very drastically from frame 94 to 96. So let's go ahead and bake the simulation one more time, and let's see what effects we get. Now, obviously, the reason this is baking so fast is because we're at such a low resolution. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like now with that faster gravity flip. Still about the same. If you really wanted it to be more intense, you could make these a little bit more extreme. So I'm going to try one more value. I'm going to go back to my scene settings. On my first keyframe here, I am going to change that to -20. I'm going to insert that keyframe, and then I'm going to go to frame 96, and I'm going to make it +20. Now let's see what we get when we bake our simulation. And again, guys, this is at a resolution of, I believe it's 32, so it's really low, which is okay. Like, you guys can do that if you want. All right, let's go ahead and check this out. So again, we're at a higher rate of gravity, so this should fall a lot quicker now. And it does, and it kind of settles a little bit quicker too, and then it completely flips. It looks really cool. Let's go into rendered view real quick, and let's just add some materials. Let's get out of Eevee, go into cycles. Let's choose our GPU. I'm just going to add a quick environment texture in here as always. Just give us some really quick, easy lighting. Let's go with this one. And then by default, Blender automatically applies a shader to your liquid. And I believe this should be a 1.33, yep, 1.33 IOR, which is the IOR of water. I'm going to hide that initial cube, which was our fluid object. And I'm going to add in a plane. I'm going to scale that up. I'm going to play my simulation and find out where it like goes to the bottom there. I'm going to bring my plane like right under the bottom of that area. I'm going to zoom out, and I just want to watch my simulation again and see how it is affected by that gravity. Very cool. As you can see, everything flips and it turns back upside down. That is awesome. Let me change out my HDRI. I don't think it's very fitting for the scene that we have right now. I think I'm going to do this winter lake scene. I like this a little bit more. And of course, we're going to start adjusting a bunch of stuff here. So we're going to start adding some shading and things like that in here. So I'm just going to make a nice dark shader for our bottom plane here. I'm going to switch to my camera so I can go to my camera view, and I'm going to adjust my project settings to 1080 by 1920, which is our size for Instagram. And then I'm also going to change my camera to, you guessed it, an orthographic camera. I'm going to zoom that out quite a bit, and I'm also going to pop open my transform tab so that I can adjust these settings. I'm going to center everything, 45-degree angle, 52.7 for my downward X angle. I'm just going to like adjust this upwards a little bit as well. So we're kind of just setting up our scene here, kind of seeing what this is going to look like. This looks pretty cool. I think I'm also going to give our liquid a bluish kind of color. Instead of that white, I'm just going to give it just a slight aqua tint. I think that looks pretty good. I'm also going to scale our plane down a bunch. We don't really need it to be that big anymore because we're in an orthographic perspective. So already this is looking really cool. I want to see where it kind of goes back up to the top. And then I kind of want to find that perfect center point. We're actually pretty centered with our scene here. This is actually looking really, really good. So something I want to do now, guys. I don't normally do this, but I'm going to actually create a container for our liquid. So I'm going to go ahead and click on our domain. I probably should, I'm going to duplicate the domain, and then I'm going to actually remove the domain from that object so that I just have the cube. So now this is the exact size that our domain should be. And what I want to do is I want to take this object, I want to rename it as frame. And we're just going to create a nice little frame for everything right here. I'm going to also shade this flat. Cool. That looks a lot better. Now, in our modifiers tab, I'm just going to add a wireframe modifier. I'm going to increase the thickness a little bit. And then I think I'm going to add walls around our fluid simulation to make this look really cool. This is what it looks like so far. As you can tell, we don't want this to be the same color as the liquid, so I'm just going to give it its own metallic shader here. I'm just going to give it like kind of a dark gray metallic shader. That looks fine. Let me just make sure it's not sitting through the floor. It is. Let me play our simulation. We're going to have to bring this up. Cool. That looks good. But we want it to be just about right there, and we want our floor to be below that. Cool. That looks pretty good. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a glass plane to each side. I'm just going to add a plane. I'm going to go to my top-down view. I'm going to scale it up for the top. I'm going to go to my side view, bring it all the way up to the top part there. And then I'm just going to give this a nice glass shader. Let's go ahead and give this a glass shader, a low roughness, and we'll give it an IOR of 1.5. That looks fine to me. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to also name this material as glass frame panels, just so that we have this all marked properly. I'm going to duplicate it. I am going to rotate it 90 degrees on the x-axis. I'm going to move it over here, scale it on the z-axis. I'm going to check and see how my dimensions are looking. So far, so good. And then I just want to line it up with this frame, and I'm going to create a mirror modifier to duplicate that as well, just so that we have a nice little box kind of containing our liquid, because we want this to look like a science experiment. At least that's what I want it to look like. That looks pretty good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in an empty plane axis. I'm just going to keep it exactly centered there. I'm going to click on my side frame. I'm going to add a mirror modifier, and then I'm going to select this empty, and I'm going to make sure we have our y-axis turned on. And now, as you can see, we have the mirror modifier working correctly. We have both of these objects. So with it turned off and on, just so you guys can see. Now, if you wanted to do this again, I could duplicate this, right? And then I'm going to rotate it on the x-axis, and then we're just going to change, oops, sorry, not the x-axis, the z-axis, right? And I'm going to go ahead and flip it now on the x-axis, and then I'm going to move it over here. So as you can see, we have our piece right here, our panel, and I'm just going to move it into place on both sides, and I'm going to move it on the x-axis as well, just to get it tucked in there. That looks good. Now we should have a glass frame around everything. Now, this is the point where you guys can decide exactly how you want to construct the glass itself. Right now, the IOR is 1.5. You could turn it down to 1.2, and you'll get an effect kind of like this. And then what you could do is you could also parent the camera to this empty, but we don't want to do that because we're going to be rotating the empty. So I'm just going to add in a new empty. I'm going to add in a sphere. Go back to my solid view. I'm going to turn on my X-ray mode. I'm going to move this sphere kind of towards the bottom here. That looks good. And then I'm going to click on my camera. I'm going to click on my sphere, and I'm going to parent the camera to the sphere. So now this sphere is going to control our camera. So when we rotate it, we can change the angle of our camera very easily. And I'm going to go back into my rendered view, and I'm now going to rotate my empty to get whatever angle I desire for my render. This is a really awesome technique that I love to use because it's just a really quick way to find good angles without having to completely adjust the camera. This is perfect. So I think this angle looks good. Now the next thing that I'm going to want to do here, guys, is I'm actually going to want to probably adjust some of the glass settings. Oops, sorry, I'm getting a call. Let me cancel that. Sorry, guys, because we are in the middle of a tutorial. I'm going to go ahead and adjust the roughness a little bit. Now you could leave this at a higher roughness, or you could leave it at a low roughness. I think I'm going to leave it at 0 and 1.2, and then I'm going to go back to my wireframe modifier, and I think I'm going to adjust the thickness just a little bit and kind of thicken that up a little bit. All right, that looks good. Cool. I'm pretty happy with what we have so far. The only other thing I'll probably do is adjust the floor plane, maybe make it white, just experiment with that color. That looks pretty cool. Maybe give it a metallic shader with like a lower roughness. Maybe a slightly off gray. That looks pretty cool. This is like where you guys get to experiment with whatever you want. Now again, in the middle, we have our liquid completely shifting from the top, or sorry, from the bottom to the top. Now I'm probably going to rebake this at a higher resolution. Right now we are at, where is it? Liquid domain. We are at 32. I think I'm going to free all, and I'm going to rebake this at 80. And just see what that looks like. Now again, guys, depending on how much time you have, you can rebake this at any value you want. 80 is pretty high, but if you keep going up, you can go up to 250. You can go up to whatever value you want. This is going to take a quick second. As soon as this is done, though, we'll be able to see the result. Let me go ahead and answer these questions in the comments real quick that I missed. Kenny, my brother, I learned a lot from your videos. Thank you. I appreciate that. 6-bit simulations. Hi. Hello. Thank you guys for joining the stream. Whoa, Kenny, this is so cool. Thank you, Natalie. I appreciate that. Isn't this page the best, everyone? Very talented person here. Thank you so much. Shift D, Alt D to duplicate. Yeah, you can use either one. I think Shift D actually duplicates like the whole object, and then Alt D is more of like a clone, if I remember correctly. What else we got here? Sorry, guys, if I missed your comments. Sir, I'm facing one problem in your graph. It's not showing the modifier option. Can you tell me how can it enable? I'd have to take a look, send me a screenshot. What type of computer setup are you using? I have, this is going to crack everybody up because I said this so many times. GeForce RTX 3070 Ti, 64 gigabytes of RAM, 2 terabyte hard drive, 4-fan setup. Intel, did I say Intel i9 chip? It's a beast. This computer is an absolute beast. All right, our simulation is done. Let me just check these other comments. I think I got them all. If I missed your comment, drop it real quick. I'll try to answer it. You always inspire me. Thank you so much. All right, guys, let's take a look at this. So we have our cube dropping. Looks really good. Look at that simulation right there. Wow. And then it's going to settle, and then it's going to go back up to the top. Blender's freezing. Hold on, let me save this. All right. Now the simulation is baked. We have everything baked in a cache, but look at this. Look at this side view even. And now that's only 80 resolution divisions, and it looks so cool. What if we had it drop? It would be really cool if we could somehow also have it drop back down. But guys, this just looks so good. I wish you could see it in person, and I wish I could render a frame real quick. It's going a little bit slow because I'm recording and streaming at the same time, but this is looking amazing. Wow. All right, so here's what I want to do, guys. I want to have a signifier that says, hey, our gravity is getting flipped upside down right now. So what I think I'm going to do is design some kind of an arrow or something cool that just like switches real quick. You know what we could do? We could design like a little level or something like that. What if we did that? Also, I kind of want to change this HDRI real quick midway. Let me just see what this looks like. Oh man, that's way too bright. Or sorry, too bright, too dark. Let's try this. Oof. Guys, we're going to have to experiment around here and find the perfect thing, but actually what we had before was not that bad, so I might have to just go back with that. What is this one? Cool. All right, we'll have to come back to this. Another thing I want to show you guys, if you hop over to the shading tab and you go to your world settings, make sure I can see this since my face isn't blocking this. If you guys want to go ahead and add in a texture coordinate node here, you can change your rotation of your world. Texture coordinate mapping, and you just want to plug this up as follows. Make sure that is what you guys need right there. Just plug everything up like that. Snap to your camera view, switch to rendered mode, and now that we are in rendered mode, we can change the value of this Z, which is actually changing our entire world's rotation, so we can get these nice effects. I actually think that looks pretty good right there. And I'm going to change our plane to a whiter color. Like a lighter color like that. That looks awesome. Cool. I'm pretty happy with that. All right, let's go back to our layout tab. And we can come back and adjust this stuff later. I just get carried away with the lighting because I think the lighting is so important when it comes to making something look cool. Look how cool this looks right now. Just through here. And this is a low resolution. I'm going to rebake this at 300, and we're going to see how cool it really looks because it's going to get super, super realistic and awesome. So again, guys, we can adjust the IOR of everything. I think what I'm going to do is make something that shows an indicator of what this gravity actually is looking like. So I'm going to go back to my solid view. I'm going to add in I think I'll add in a cylinder, and I'm just going to move this off to the side here. I'm going to scale it down. I'm going to scale it up on the Z-axis. And what I want to do is I want to make this almost like a level where there's a sphere inside and it's moving up and down. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to apply my scale here. I am going to go to my modifiers tab. I'm going to add a bevel. I'm going to kind of lower that a little bit. I'm going to add an edge split modifier. And then I'm going to add in a subdivision surface modifier. Now that looks really good so far. I'm going to shade that smooth. I'm going to lower the bevel just a little bit. I think that looks perfect. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in a sphere. Go to my top-down view. Where's my sphere? I'm going to move it with G, kind of like roughly center it right here. Now, you could probably perfectly center these and then move them around, but I'm just going to really, really roughly center this. Cool, that looks good. Now, our sphere is going to indicate our gravitational direction. So what I want to do is hop over to my rendered view. I want to give this tube a glass shader, but I'm going to give it its own like rough glass shader. I'm going to lower that roughness a little bit. I'm going to go to my sphere, and I am going to create a new, shader. And then I think I'm going to do, where's my level? On most levels, it's, what is it, green? All right, I'm going to make this one glass as well. This is going to get trippy. And then this one right here is going to be, I think it's like a yellow-green. I feel like it is. Am I wrong about that? This is going to be tough to make this look good. But you know what I just realized, guys? We can actually create a Boolean object. Let's see if this works. I don't know if it will. Because we have a lot of modifiers on this already. Let me drop this down to 1. And let me add in a Boolean modifier. And let's click on our sphere. And then let me hide our sphere. That actually worked really well. Hold on. So the idea is that this is our air bubble in here, this sphere. I'm going to shade both of these smooth, or not, if it's not going to let me. Shade smooth. There we go. So if we switch to our rendered view and we hide this sphere, we now have a bubble inside of our tube here. And when we move this sphere up and down, where's our Z value? There it is. It's going to act as a level. So I think this is going to be really cool. Now, this doesn't necessarily, I guess when it's level, it would be like this at the top, and then it would switch all the way to the bottom. This could actually just make a cool tutorial in itself. But you see how when I bring it up, it's cutting in because that Boolean is acting very well. This is perfect. I think I'm going to leave it at the top here. Oops. Right about there. Guys, this is really cool. I actually didn't think this was going to look as cool as it does. But yeah, this is going to act as our level. Now we just have to like figure out a place to put it. So I'm going to go ahead back to my solid view. I'm going to select my cylinder and my sphere, and I'm just going to like bring it around front here somewhere. And I just want to see what this looks like. This is kind of where you get to be creative again and just figure out like where do you want this stuff to be. Cool. This is going to be really, really interesting. I love this stuff, guys. I really do. I think I want it to be like sort of right there. Oops, I got to have both selected. Cool. Kind of like on the corner area, if you guys are feeling me on that. This is pretty cool. And then should we make it full height? I mean, I feel like maybe we should. Let's make it centered on the Z axis real quick, and let's just scale it up. I scaled up our sphere too. Darn it. Cool. All right, we're good. I think that looks pretty good. I almost want to make it a little bit taller, as I think it's going to work much better. This looks really cool. Guys, should we also build like a small frame for this thing too? Like almost like a holder, like something that's holding this. I almost want to create something that goes off of our metal frame here. So let me just go ahead and grab our cylinder, our sphere, move it on the Y-axis so it's like kind of centered. Just like right there. And we're going to have like a prong come off and hold that. And then this is going to show the level. I didn't think this was how this project was going to end up taking place and happening, but it actually is pretty cool. So I'm going to hop back into solid view here. And then I'm going to go ahead and add in a torus. I'm going to move it, center it a little bit. You know what I'm going to do before I do that, though? I'm going to add it back, and I'm going to adjust some of the settings. I'm going to do major radius a little bit bigger, minor radius smaller. Something like that is perfect. Because what I want to do is have this be like a ring that's holding our object at the top. And then guess what I'm going to do, guys? I'm going to create a mirror modifier to go ahead and hold that, or sorry, hold it, to duplicate it so that it's holding both the bottom and the top of our level here. Now again, this is just for aesthetic purposes. We've gone through all the physics simulation. If you guys want to stop watching, that's fine. I'm going to keep teaching. I'm going to go ahead and shade that smooth so it's kind of at the top, hugging the top of this. I might as well just put it all the way at the top. We'll see how that looks. We can easily adjust this later. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add in a mirror modifier, and we just need something to mirror this off of. I think I'm going to try to use the tube and see how that looks. And then I'm going to mirror it on the Z axis. So now as you can see at the bottom here, we also have a ring. So we have two rings holding this thing, and then we just need a way to kind of like connect it to this. So I think I'm going to use just like a little, like a cube or something to do that. I'm just going to move that here, kind of scale it down. I'm going to bring it up on the Z axis till it's like barely at the top there. That looks good. I'm going to scale it down some more. Let's go ahead and press period to kind of zoom in on that. Let's go to our side view, bring this up, scale it in, bring it up some more, scale it on the x-axis. Let's go ahead and add our mirror modifier. And we're going to select Z in this. And then I'm also going to have to go to my top-down view and verify that that is in the correct spot. It is. We're going to need to center everything real quick. I'm going to shift select all these, G, Y. That looks pretty good. And then I just need to copy this material. And then I think I'm going to apply the scale of our cube here. And I'm just going to add a little bevel. A little bevel action has never hurt anybody. That should be perfect. I'm just going to add like a couple segments in there, shade that smooth. I think that looks perfect. So now we kind of have this little thing that is holding our level there. So we have our level on the side. Now we need to animate the bubble inside of the level to make it go up and down to show that our gravity has changed. Now we can keep it at the top at frame 94, and then we just need to flip it at frame 96. So our sphere, obviously, guys, is the thing that we're going to be animating. It starts at the top, so I'm just going to keyframe it towards the top here, insert location, and then at frame 96, I'm going to bring it towards the bottom. Insert location. Let's go ahead and check that in rendered view. Now again, we're hiding this. So 94 over to 96. Now it transitions pretty quickly, so I think I'm going to click on it again, guys, and I am going to pop open this tab here, go to our sphere, and I think I am going to select all these keyframes. For some reason, every single keyframe is showing right now, which is kind of annoying, but where's our sphere? There it is. I'm also going to show it. I'm not going to show it in the render, so I am going to hide it, and I'm going to stretch these keyframes out a bit. So let me go ahead and select. Sorry, guys. Shift select. 1, 2, 3. I believe that is the sphere right there. This is the scene settings with the gravity, and then this is the sphere. It's really annoying that it's not. It has everything selected. I'm pretty sure only shows selected. I know that there's a setting for this somewhere, but it's kind of frustrating. Here, let me lock. I'll just lock the other one. Locking all these. Now I should be able to scale this out. There we go. So I'm just going to lock the scene settings, and I'm going to scale this out a little bit. So this is 94. We'll go up to 104. There we go. All right, now let's go ahead and collapse this, and let's watch our animation. Perfect. So you have this bubble transitioning, and as that's happening, the gravity is shifting. I think I'm going to shift it out just a little bit more, out to 120. Perfect. And I think that's actually perfect. Let's go ahead and snap to camera view. This is awesome. This is kind of exactly what I wanted to accomplish with this tutorial. Time is at 2:13. So the cube of water falls down, it's flowing in there, and then it goes up because the gravity has shifted. So I think we pretty much accomplished exactly what we wanted to. I can go over some quick render settings. That's pretty much the tutorial. Let me go ahead and adjust this to 150 for our samples. Denoising, we'll keep that checked on. I think I'm going to do optics. Let's go back to our render settings and go to light paths. For transmission, I'm going to make that 4, and then I'm going to work my way up. Actually, we'll set it at 10. Everything else can be like 2. That looks pretty good for the most part. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 16. So we're going to add up all those light bounces to 16. I'm going to turn off caustics. Let's turn on fast GI approximation. Ruins the image. We're going to keep it away from that. And I'm going to mess with these a few more times to see if we can get some more detail out of this. That looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with that. Let me see how long it would take to render one frame. And then eventually I'm going to rebake this simulation at a higher resolution because I don't want to waste your time with the tutorial. As you can see, the cube is in there. We don't want that in there. We want to hide that from rendered view. So let me hide that and re-render this. And let's go ahead and see what render time we're getting here. You can use Node Wrangler for mapping and texture coordinate node. Yeah, I've heard of that. Will you give a quick recap? Yeah, we're making a fluid simulation. Sorry about that. I just saw that. Also, I think I have We're getting some weird artifact down here or something. I don't know if that's motion blur. I think I have motion blur disabled. All right, this is 21 seconds, and it looks pretty good for the most part. I'm pretty happy with that. I think I might adjust the area where these rings sit. Everything's looking pretty good though. I'm pretty happy with it. It definitely looks like it's contained inside of a glass cube. I'm pretty happy with that, guys. I'm probably not going to go into any more details. I got to make a quick phone call, but this is looking really solid. I'm super happy with this. So I do hope you guys enjoyed the tutorial. I will try to post the completed render at the end. So, but yeah, that was pretty much switching gravity with fluid. Super simple, but super cool effects. Like, I'd like to see what you guys are going to end up doing with that as well. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording, and I will talk to you guys later. Go check out the Discord, go check out the Patreon, and definitely go check out my private tutoring that I'm offering on Calendly. I will include that link in the description below. I'd be more than happy to work with you guys and teach you guys some new skills. So I will talk to you guys in the next tutorial. Take it easy. Cool. All right, that wraps up that tutorial. Let me answer a few questions on the live streams here, guys, and then I will be heading off because I have a few things to get to today. I got a new part-time job, so I got to get to that as well. Here, hold on. Okay, there we go. When will you make live tutorial? When do you make live tutorials on Instagram? I just did. So let me go ahead and X out of that. YouTube, guys, I will talk to you guys. Oh, sorry, we have one question. Thank you for streaming this. I always love your videos. By the way, what time do you upload shorts? I upload like 2 shorts a day, so you guys will probably see. You'll see some until Saturday, I think. So I think I have enough till Saturday. I have them all scheduled out. So, all right, guys. Everybody on YouTube, I will see you later. I'm gonna wrap things up with Instagram. It's been a successful live stream. I think we covered a lot of good stuff here in Blender today, and it just goes to show you can pretty much make anything. You just have to think of the thing that you want to make and you make it. So, all right, guys, I'll see you guys later on YouTube, and then I'm gonna wrap things up with Instagram. Take it easy, everybody. Oh, sorry. How many renders do you have? How many renders do I have? A ton. Oh my gosh, thousands. Like, actually, probably thousands. So, at least hundreds on my actual Instagram, and like thousands outside of that from test.